We have drama in the furry community. And I want to do this with you guys because I'm not a furry and I've never commissioned a fursuit. So I would love to hear y'all's inputs on like what is expected and what is not expected because I don't know. This quote unquote drama is about somebody on Twitter made a review of their purchase from a fursuit maker, and then the fursuit maker came around and made a thread about debunking the review. And again, don't send hate to anybody involved, and let's be respectful when we leave comments. The original review was posted by this Twitter account called Nox Mutts, who goes by Nox. And they write, I've had my front range suits, and they added them, but they removed the ats, so they put a slash in front of it, for almost a year now, and I would like to review my experience and product that I've received from Zane. I began payments in October of 23 and received my suit before 24 FWA with my last payment in April, so a quick turnaround was a plus. So Knox writes, I paid $1,700 for a partial suit that included sleeves. No feet paws were paid, rather gifted. So again, I'm not a furry, but this is from my understanding of fursuits. You can get a full suit, which is literally the full suit, the head, the body, you know, the paws, the feet, etc., and the tail, or you can get a partial suit. From my understanding, it looks different per suit. So some people just get the head and the paws, some people just get like head, paws, and maybe a tail, but it's not the full thing. That's from my understanding. So Knox writes the good. Turnaround time, payment plan, lined head, accurate color matching. Zane put up a very good work with my suit as it was completely handmade. The imperfections were okay. Okay, so Crowler seems about right for a skilled maker for $1,700 for a partial suit. Got it. Knox writes, however, upon commission, I never signed a contract depicting future additions onto the suit or a formal receipt. Not the biggest deal. I would say that is a big deal if you're working with this much money. I think, and this is just my personal opinion, to protect yourself as both a customer and for artists, you should always have a contract in place when you're dealing with this much money. This is just to make sure that both of you guys are legally on the hook, right? You are legally on the hook to pay the money as a client, and as the artist, you are legally on the hook to deliver the product. It just puts it in writing. It makes sure that if anything were to come up, you can resort to this contract so that we have a legal piece of documents showcasing the service you have both signed on agreement to provide and receive. Sora, I'll be a Karen for anything that is expensive if something's wrong. Oh, I would be too. If I paid $1,700 for something and it came broken or like incomplete or things are falling apart, I would be a Karen too, because that is a lot of money. $1,700 in this economy can go a long way. So Knox writes the bad. No professional paperwork outlining the numbers or future. Head fit is not good. Hand paws don't fit. Hair tuft is extremely fragile. I'm curious though, how is this possible? So I've never commissioned a fursuit, but in the past I have commissioned extremely custom made items like ballet dresses. I've done ballet in the past, right? I've gotten custom made tutus. How can they not fit? Measurements are done, measurements are sent in, etc. Like either it's the fault of the person who did the measurements, or it's the fault of the person who made the product because you got the measurements and did not abide by it. It could go either way, right? If the client didn't measure themselves properly, it's not gonna fit because the measurements will be wrong. But if the commissioner received proper measurements and then completely butchered it, it's also not gonna fit. So we'll have to see, right? And so here we already have an example. Is this an ear or like a hair tuft? And oh wow, do you see the stitches just hanging off like that? Oh, like you can just see their fingers. That's not right. That does not look right. Like I've never had a fursuit, but stitches should not be looking like this. Okay, I can sew. Shouldn't be looking like this. Knox writes, my head, a 24-inch, does not fit into the suit head, and I have to shove my nose between the eye holes to keep it on, making it difficult to breathe and see. My hand paws never stay on. With separated finger pillows, my fingers move and twist, and I'm constantly having to readjust. So I'm confused, like how? I mean, because this to me sounds like not a custom order, but just like a standard order, you know? Like when I buy cosplay from like online stores, you know, they kind of don't fit properly because it's not a custom made product. It's like a general product I just bought. It's gonna fit some type of way. A custom product should not have like slipping, sliding, or those types of errors. Knox continues the ugly. Keeping professional, Zane pulled the rug out from under me regarding my full bodysuit due to some background issues regarding me. Strictly personal, Zane decided to cut me off from future work. However, he did give me the chance to buy my fur before blocking me on DM. This, however, should not discourage those seeking an RFR suit and should be aware of my personal experiences. Zane is fairly new compared to other makers, and I know with time he will grow. But from my opinion, I do not recommend dealing with this maker for the foreseeable future. TLDR, RFR makes affordable introductory suits that showcase a talent that needs further building in professional aspects. The suits are well constructed, but not particularly form-fitting. Zane deserves respect to the making of his passions, but also showcases business immaturity. Zane did give gift me foot paws for my birthday and they fit a tad bit tight, but well due to them being fitted around the shoe. I will say that RFR does have a wide variety of options in terms of suit making, which allows clients to choose exactly what they need for their budget. And that is the conclusion of Knox's review. And here's what some commenters had to say. So G Shep GF writes, you underpaid for a partial by over 50%. Get over yourself. I mean, I don't know, right? I've never bought a fursuit. And Crow Parade writes, respectfully, this all seems like stuff that can easily be spoken to personally with the maker instead of a public post. They seem pretty transparent and open to communication. And Knox writes, I will back up my review, however. It's the circumstances that I have gone through. Everything I say is exactly what I've experienced, and no client should ever have to worry about their personal business being exposed over something that doesn't involve them. Vixens writes, it's one of those things that comes with commissioning a new maker. A lot of them are young with no prior business experience. I usually don't recommend people selling their suits until they have at least got better at the craft. It avoids bad situations like this. And Petals writes, I commissioned them when they first opened suits at the start of 2023. Nothing but constant communication with measurements, style, and add-ons. This is 100% on you, putting all concerns, questions, and complaints on the back burner until the last minute, then using it on Zane. And Keenan writes, the slander is unreal. It's amazing work for that price. They gifted you free feet paws and offered free fixes, which you decided, nah, I'd rather go to Twitter because of a falling out. Respectfully, grow up. Sync, to me, that seems like a good critic post, like not bashing the other person, but giving their experiences and POVs to others to make their own judgment. Yeah, we'll see, right? Because Front Range Suits actually made their response. And their response went viral on Twitter on January 10th. As of January 11th, it got 3.2k likes. So they posted, I will be debunking this over-exaggerated negative review from a past client. This all seemingly out of the blue due to personal issues where there was a falling out with this person in a friend group. I'm going to debunk everything this individual claims in the thread. And they've attached kind of photos. So here we can see the head. Here we can see there's a tail. I can't really see what other aspects there are. And again, with every situation, right, there's always three sides. There's two sides and the truth. So we have heard Knox's side. So now we're going to hear Front Range Fursuit's side. So FRF writes, for some transparency, let's take a look at what they paid and what they received. Full partial fursuit, fully lined head, indoor feet paws, 7-month frame from commission being accepted to completion, 3 months of suit being made, all for $1,700. So attached are the photo. Wow. This looks nice. I mean, we did see the stitching kind of coming off, but this looks really nice. I mean, again, I'm not a furry, nor have I owned a fursuit, but just look at this. This craftsmanship looks really clean. All right, so this is the example of the suit. The head. Here we have an example of the inside. It's fully lined. We can see it's stitched all around. Oh, and here is it on. Okay, so here we have the paws with the sleeves and a tail. So this is what it looks like it comes with. Well, this to me looks really good. Again, I'm not a furry, so I'm not sure, but to me, as somebody who knows how to sew, this looks very clean craftsmanship to me. But again, take my opinion with a grain of salt, okay? Because I do not regularly interact with fursuits. I'm sure other people can give better opinions. So Front Range writes, first complaint, TLDR, client claims I should have had a TOS to sign. I had none at the time and they were a trusted friend and I didn't want to have them paying at strict times to help them out. There were no incidents surrounding TOS, strictly just how I should have had one. So this is the screenshot writing the bad, no professional paperwork outlining the numbers or the future. And FRF writes, no paperwork to sign or TOS. Commissioner was a friend of mine and I was only doing commissions for less than a year at the time. I accepted their commission. I don't have any professional TOS yet, but rather an outline on my Trello, which they had access to, and figured it would be okay since this person and I had a friendship. They did not seem concerned about this as we had very good back and forth communication throughout the whole commission process. They never seemed to have any issues with paying, and I was very lenient with them when and how they'd pay me because I knew they were a friend and also dealing with paying many other bills at the time. I didn't want to have their payments set on contract knowing their situation. I'm just saying right now, guys, this is a life lesson. Don't work with your friends, okay? Look, it gets messy really fast, okay? They always say, you know, don't do business with your friends, don't do business with your loved ones because it gets messy really, really quickly. So Front Range continues, second complaint, TLDR. Client told me suit head didn't fit despite me crafting a head to the measurements I received. After they told me, I offered to resize for free several times for which they never followed up on me with. So this was Knox's post about the 24-inch head that doesn't fit. And they write, I was still figuring out how to properly size heads at this time, and when I measured the inside of the head, it did read as being able to fit the commissioner. After finding out the commissioner had some issues with the sizing, I offered to fix it free of charge on multiple occasions once I had finished what was on my current queue, and they showed little to no interest because they claimed not ever really wearing the suit much anyways. I don't know why it would be such an issue if they didn't care much to try to get it fixed by me. Third complaint, TLDR. Client never mentioned this to me, but dislikes having to readjust paws, claiming it's due to the lining method. However, this has never been an issue for myself or previous clients, and method has been used by professional makers. The same screenshot, but about the hand paws, and the graphic reads, "This was the first time I was ever made aware of the suit paws not fitting, and I've never had an issue myself nor with previous clients claiming the paws don't fit. I've seen them wear the paws many times, and they physically fit, but rather they seem to not like having to readjust the paws on their hands, which is a normal part of wearing a fursuit, or how they didn't like the method I used for stuffing the fingers on my paws. I use a method where I make lyrica beans to fit into the fingers to make them puffy, and this isn't an uncommon or unprofessional method. This method is used by multicolored bark even. You are supposed to have the beans lay on top of your fingers, so you might have to adjust your hand when you first put them on. Commissioner states in thread how it was frustrating to be needing to readjust paws due to their fingers being in contact with the beans, but yet again never stated this issue in the past. Suits I own and commissioners with the same style paws have never been bothered by it. Fourth complaint, TLDR. Client claims to not like the way in which the hair tuft was made, despite telling me to use this method, knowing of how it's not as sturdy as a traditional hair tuft. Hair tuft has not ripped or broken at all and has held up well. So again, we have the photo of the hair tuft with the minimal stitching, and the graphic reads, client was made 100% aware and told me to use the method of cutting, layering, and brushing fur to make their hair tufts. I showed them a tutorial on how it was done and how it was different from a normal hair tuft style I offered, and they agreed, knowing that it may appear a bit more flimsy. However, it has not ripped or broken at all. There is no physical issues with the hair tuft, and client even said they loved it after receiving it. To add, in the image, they are firmly peeling up the hair tuft to show one of the invisible stitches used to attach the hairpiece. This photo proves nothing, as an invisible stitch is the traditional method used to attach hair pieces. Fifth complaint, TLDR mentions free fursuit pods. I made them tight despite them supplying me with the shoes. So again, they're gifted foot paws, and it reads feet paws. Yes, the feet paws were a gift to this person. They claim to not fit great, however, they provided the shoes on which it was built upon. I have seen them wearing the feet paws, and they do in fact fit. Also, again, look, I'm not a furry, right? But don't you want it to fit well? You know, it's kind of like Crocs, right? Or a regular shoes. If it's too loose, it's gonna fall off. I'm assuming that's how it's gonna work, right? You do want it to be a little snug so it stays on. That's what I think. You can't not make it fit if you have the original shoe. Okay, that makes more sense. And yeah, I do think it's interesting they were complaining about a free item, the foot paws being free, but they were unhappy with the, I guess, craftsmanship of the free item they got. Sixth complaint, TLDR, claims I showcase business immaturity simply for not having a TOS during first year of business. Client never had any issues during process. It was speedy, quality, affordable. I kept them well informed, and it offered to fix any issues for free. So that's the TLDR. And then it reads, business immaturity. Aside from not having a proper TOS at the time, I have displayed a large amount of communication every time I would work on client suits. I would ask for input constantly and consistently while showing them work in progress pictures. I offered to fix issues for free and made the suit in a very timely and quality manner. I pride myself in my customer service skills, in fact, and know that I do everything to make my client feel good about what they receive. To add on, this was still within my first year of taking comms. But main point across, I know that I run my business in a responsible and professional manner and go out of my way to make sure my clients have a positive experience. Seventh complaint, TLDR. Client upset I didn't allow them to commission me for a bodysuit because of personal reasons. I never quoted them or received money for body, and even offered to let them buy the fur I had from the previous partial commission to be used on the body. So this was the Zane pulling the rug from under them about the full bodysuit. I feel like there's more to the story. And FRF writes, client claimed I, quote, pulled the rug out from under them, end quote, from commissioning me for a bodysuit because I was uncomfortable with a personal situation that took place within a friend group. I never promised them I would make them a body. They never paid me any money for the bodysuit, and I never quoted them for it. It was simply a topic up in the air about how they may commission me in the future for a body. I remained professional about it and offered to let them purchase the fur I had left over from their partial suit to be used for their body. They didn't ask for the fur, and that was that. To add, I'm not sure why they would have been so adamant about commissioning me again had they truly had such a negative experience the first time around commissioning me, which is also really true too, right? If you were so upset, you bothered to make this review page, and they do try to frame it as a review, but it is a pretty negative review, So you seem to be quite unhappy with what you received, but you want to commission them again? I'm confused. And again, my theory is there's probably more stuff that happened in the friend group that probably is why Front Range Suits didn't want to work with them anymore. And I'm just gonna be honest, bro. Like, you're not entitled to commissions from an artist. Why are you surprised that if some bridges burned, right? Like, either it was your fault or something, the bridge burned, regardless of whose fault it was, you're not going to get a commission anymore. Like, if you piss off your artist, they're not going to want to work with you anymore. You're not entitled to get stuff and art or a fursuit or whatever from your artist if they just don't want to work with you anymore. Sure, it can be frustrating, but the artist is completely entitled to choose who they want to work with and who they don't want to work with. And if you happen to fall on the don't want to work with list, it is what it is. Find a different artist. But FRF continues to sum everything up in the comments made here solely seem to be petty and based off the personal falling out within our friend group. The client deleted our entire Telegram chat history, so I have no screenshots to share from it, which would only prove my case. I sincerely hope this doesn't turn any future clients away, and I'm forever grateful to the continued support my business receives. At the end of the day, I truly want to make my commissioners happy with what they received, and I'm always open for discussion if anything arises. So that is FRF's post, and let's see what some commenters had to say. I'm not gonna go all the way down. So Phoenix Nest writes, for $1,700 the suit is amazing, definitely charge more. And Front Rage writes, thank you so much, I'm planning on upping my prices soon. And Hello Moon writes, I've been in a similar position with a past client and my heart goes out to you for real. Doing business with friends just never feels safe anymore. Thank you for the professional and well thought out response to this, and I hope you're getting all the support you need through this. Knox writes, I don't see how you are debunking a review I made of your work. You brought personal issues into our business, an issue that didn't involve you, block me, and then continue to talk about this personal issue to everyone around you. That is not professional. You then offer me the fur, which was reasonable, but then block me after calling me a victim for sending you a Merry Christmas message? Like, dude, why would I feel as if I'm really valued as a client of yours after this shit? It's not a good look for your business. And FRF says, I cannot reply my personal account, but I can confirm that is not what happened. My thread is replying to your review on my business. And Mama Spicy writes, seems like you're the one that's not really being professional, considering they offered to fix issues multiple times, which you declined, then decided to smear them after a falling out with someone they knew. Why not just take up the offers for the free adjustments? And Spooky says, the no professional paperwork thing felt kind of crazy to me. I've purchased 4 suits from 3 different makers now and haven't received any formal paperwork from any of them. That's an odd thing to expect, especially from a new maker. I will say though, like, maybe it's odd for some people, but just to be safe, I do recommend you guys like make a contract or some sort of document, a legal document to prove that this commission happens, so that life is easier for you. And Petals again writes, I was one of the first few people to commission Front Range suits when they first made suits. Time has passed since I last calmed them. They've given me faith in their craft. Although refurbed, I trust they bring her to life. L on the client. And they attach some photos. I'm just showing this to showcase some more like previous examples of work that this person allegedly has made, and it looks really cute. Yeah, at the end of the day, who knows? I think it's a little bit odd though that Nox is like, hey, you're the one at fault, you did this, you are the one who blew up the friend group, but then allegedly they were the one that deleted all the messages. And I feel like most of the time, if you're the one in the wrong, you're deleting the messages, right? Like, I feel like most of the time, if you're in the right, you wouldn't delete the entire chat history. Like, if you were the one that got cheated on, you wouldn't delete the chat history. But if you were the cheater, you would. You know what I mean? Like, I personally suspect that more has gone on behind the scenes that is not being revealed about the friend group falling apart. But this is a life lesson to all of us, guys. A couple of life lessons, okay? 1, don't work with your friends because shit always gets hella messy. For pay, if you're giving your friends things for free, that's fine. Maybe sometimes they'll be ungrateful, who knows? But if you work with them on a paid basis, it rarely ends well because bridges will get burned. And secondly, even though it may not be common in the fur community to use contracts when it comes to commissioning work, when you are working with that much money, like in the thousands, I do think having some legal document is helpful to keep you all on the hook so that both of you guys have clarity. I'm just trying to protect you guys as both a client and an artist. It protects both of you guys. So there's that, right? That's like how we can learn. But it really seems like FRF makes some pretty good quality suits. And FRF continues to write, also to add, I want to say any critique I receive from my client is taken with open arms. I'm happy to try and improve on whatever could be improved upon. However, this past situation is one where things are strictly being brought up for petty reasons. I won't get into details because it's nothing that needs to be publicized, but I feel the need to defend my business if personal matters are going to be turned into something that could affect my suit making business. I handle all other matters privately and professionally when brought up in context. The client made claims about my suit making business, and I'm simply only giving my side of the story and facts about the matter, knowing that such a negative review tying into the personal matters could affect me if I don't provide context. Which, again, I completely agree. I do not fault FRF whatsoever for making the review. If we even look at it from like a follower perspective, they have less followers. Like they have 643, Nox has 1,000. So I don't blame them whatsoever for wanting to make a post and defending their business, after somebody went and made a review that looks pretty negative, Again, don't send hate to any parties involved. If you had a bad experience, you're allowed to talk about your bad experience, but, this is why you don't mix personal matters with work because it gets really, really messy.